Sean Diddy Coombs. Narcissist, Part 5. Hello, I'm HG Tudor, and I'm considering further evidence for the purpose of determining whether Sean Diddy Coombs is a narcissist or not. Sean Diddy Coombs once threatened to hit a pregnant Kimora Lee Simmons. His alleged threat to Kimora Lee Simmons has resurfaced after his ex, Cassie, accused him of rape and physical abuse in a federal lawsuit, the Daily Mail reports. A 2004 profile on Simmons in New York Magazine claimed Kimora said something to Coombs and he threatened to hit her in an apparent prior incident. Use of threat, threat of physical violence, potential response to threat to control. Simmons, now 48, added, and I was pregnant, the moron. That would suggest furthermore a lack of emotional empathy in hitting a pregnant woman or threatening to do so. According to the interview, Coombs, now 54, eventually got down on his knees in public to apologise, which would suggest potentially false contrition. At the time, Simmons gave an update on their relationship, noting, I respect him for being a fierce entrepreneur, and I appreciate knowing that everything he does is emulating my husband. Simmons was married to Baby Phat founder Russell Simmons from 1998 to 2009. Coombs didn't provide a comment to New York Magazine at the time of the interview, but the New York Magazine profile has been making the rounds again after Coombs' ex, Cassie, accused him of controlling and abusing her for over a decade in the recently filed lawsuit, which I have mentioned in previous parts. Another instance of heated fury between Coombs and an intimate partner, and this time involving somebody that was pregnant and that he threatened to physically assault. One of the other aspects that came from Cassie Ventura's lawsuit was the suggestion that Diddy had allegedly blown up the car of an artist that she was seeing at the time. The relevant artist Kid Cudi, has supported and confirmed Ventura's version of events. According to the Huffington Post, in the lawsuit that Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie, filed, she stated that Diddy purportedly threatened, use of threat, to blow up Kid Cudi's car, and shortly after that, his car allegedly exploded in the driveway of his residence. This took place in 2012. In February 2012, Mr. Coombs told Miss Ventura that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened, the complaint says. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. Miss Ventura was terrified as she began to fully comprehend what Mr. Coombs was both willing and able to do to those he believed had slighted him. In a statement published by the New York Times, through a spokesperson, the Day and Night rapper stated, "This is all true." Accordingly, another act where Coombs is accused of poor behaviour, this time corroborated by a witness in relation to the use of threat, the carrying out of that threat, and the destruction of property. It would appear, of course, that Coombs was jealous of this individual now seeing somebody else, which of course for a narcissist would mean that their control was threatened. The former intimate partner primary source being with somebody else is something that a narcissist cannot tolerate. And in the circumstances, this appears to have resulted in the ignition of fury with Mr. Coombs, causing him to issue a threat and then to act on that threat by causing the destruction of the vehicle. Another instance showing narcissistic indicators on the part of Sean Coombs. It would appear that the former intimate partner primary source being with somebody else, which of course would amount to a huge threat to a narcissist, results in the ignition of fury, resulting in the issuing of a threat which is then acted upon to cause damage to property. The destruction of property being done to try and intimidate Kid Cudi and to send a message to both him and the former partner in order, presumably, to subconsciously achieve the control that is sought. Further evidence of the fractious nature of Sean Combs and those that he deals with comes in relation to liquor giant Diageo plc, which said it was severing ties with the entrepreneur after the celebrity filed a suit alleging Diageo had not supported joint ventures involving Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila. Combs sued Diageo in late May in New York Supreme Court in Manhattan, alleging that the company, which also distributes Johnny Walker and Captain Morgan, among other liquor brands, had neglected the spirits under their joint control. He also alleged Diageo had undermined the business by marketing Ciroc and De Leon as urban, rather than something for the general market. In a filing made Tuesday in the same jurisdiction, Diageo called for the suit to be dismissed and said it would no longer be working with Combs, who over the years has launched a clothing line and restaurants, and has a stake in the Revolt TV cable network. We are saddened that Mr. Combs has chosen to recast a business dispute as anything other than that, and chosen to damage a productive and valued partnership. Mr. Combs's bad faith actions have clearly breached his contracts, and left us with no choice but to move to dismiss his baseless complaint and end our business relationship. Mr. Combs has repeatedly undermined our partnerships and threatened to publicly defame Diageo if we did not meet his unreasonable financial demands. Diageo said in a statement, Diageo believes strongly in the Ciroc and De Leon brands and remains committed to their success, which is why we tried for years to salvage the broken relationship with Mr. Combs. We funded the purchase of De Leon for the joint venture and proceeded to invest more than $100 million to grow the brand. Despite having made nearly $1 billion over the course of our 15-year relationship, Mr. Combs contributed a total of $1,000 and refused to honour his commitments. But Diageo argued that Combs had failed to meet obligations to which he previously agreed. From its inception, the Combs parties failed to fulfil their duty to fund the joint venture as an equal 50% owner, with Diageo investing a mere $1,000, while Diageo has invested over $100 million in funds, Diageo said in its filing. The Combs' party failure to fund the joint venture created a contentious relationship, severely damaged the De Leon brand at a critical juncture, and stalled its promise and potential for growth for several years. Diageo also alleged Combs was trying to pressure the company for money in the courts. The suit, Diageo said, is a transparent attempt to pressure Diageo into an early settlement of a planned parallel arbitration proceeding. The complaint reveals a public relations-focused strategy aimed at disparaging Diageo rather than any claim with legal or factual basis. Another example of the way that Mr. Combs conducts himself, utilising litigation to assert control, it would appear, issuing threats and showing a lack of accountability for failing to contribute to the joint venture in the way that he was duty-bound to do so. Not only is it the case that he appears to have difficult relationships on a day-to-day basis with people, falling out with them, getting into fights, threatening them, he has difficult interpersonal relationships in the intimate partner arena and also within the business arena, all of which shows a tempestuous approach to his life and is demonstrative of the repeated appearance of heat-ignited fury. We're now going to sum matters up to reach a conclusion in part 6 in relation to Sean Diddy Combs. Join me there.